morning, Lakers. It's Tuesday, June 4th, and this is your Laker Update. It may be more than a year away, but the 2020 election is already making the news. Reporter Eitan Sher has more.
It's only June, but the 2020 election cycle is already in full swing. There are over 20 candidates running, and all of them are bringing a bunch of new ideas. You may recognize Joe Biden from being vice president for 8 years during the Obama administration. He is the most moderate candidate running in a sea of far-left Democrats and could potentially win over blue-collar voters. Joe Biden has been known as a man of the people for a long time. He's in favor of, quote, laws that allow labor unions to flourish and fight for basic worker protections. And he's called for a $15 per hour minimum wage. Right now, he's number one in the polls. Do you think $15 an hour minimum wage is a good idea?
I would think it would probably be a good idea just so the youth of the working age could be making more and it would inspire them to get a better job.
President Trump is running for re-election. You probably know a lot about him and his proposals already, so we'll keep it short. Trump wants to reform the U.S.-China trade relationship, protect Second Amendment rights, reform veteran affairs, and secure the border.
I don't think America needs a wall across the southern border.
Senator Bernie Sanders is a Democratic socialist who has worked in government for 38 years, serving in the House of Representatives from 1991 until 2007, when he became a senator. He finished second place in the Democratic primaries in 2016, but he lost to Hillary Clinton. He represents a more progressive turn for the Democratic Party. Bernie's in favor of Medicare for All, which would get rid of the current healthcare system and replace it with one run by the government. In April, he told a town hall how he planned on paying for it. You're going to pay more in taxes, but at the end of the day, the overwhelming majority of people are going to end up paying less for healthcare. To be clear, his plans will raise taxes for everyone except those at the very bottom. He also wants to make public college free, increase Social Security benefits, and generally increase the size of the federal government. Is it a good idea to have public colleges free for everyone?
You know, it sounds really nice and it might seem amazing, but in reality it's just not possible, and I think it would not be the best idea.
Senator Kamala Harris was the Attorney General for California and is currently a U.S. Senator. She has proposed giving $6,000 a year to families making less than $100,000. Harris is also a supporter of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's Green New Deal, which was put into place to address inequality and climate change. Climate change is an existential threat, Senator Harris said, and we have got to deal with the reality of it. She's also a fan of DACA, which grants legal status to undocumented immigrants who were brought to the U.S. as children. Should families making less than $100,000 a year get $6,000 from the federal government?
Honestly, it depends how hard the parents are working and how many kids they have, or where they come from. And if they really do need the money and they're working really hard, then yeah, I think they should.
Pete Buttigieg is the 37-year-old mayor of South Bend, Indiana. He's a Harvard graduate, Rhodes Scholar, and veteran of Afghanistan. Buttigieg is a fresh face in politics, and he's surging in the polls. President Obama even called him the future of the Democratic Party. Buttigieg is an ardent supporter of labor unions. He said that Democrats need to work harder on advocating for working people. He's also in favor of passing the Federal Equality Act, which would grant LGBT folks federal non-discrimination protections. Mayor Pete himself is gay and married to a man. Buttigieg wants to fight climate change, supporting the Paris Climate Accord and the Green New Deal. Elizabeth Warren is a senator from Massachusetts and the first woman to serve as a senator from her own state. She wants to impose higher taxes on the rich, specifically an additional 2% tax on those with a net worth of over $50 million and an additional 1% tax on billionaires. We need structural change, she tweeted. That's why I'm proposing something brand new, an annual tax on the wealth of the richest Americans. Warren wants to fight the big corporations. She proposed the Accountable Capitalism Act, which would take trillions of dollars from the corporations and redistribute them to the middle class. The act, in her own words, restores the idea that giant American corporations should look out for American interests. Andrew Yang is an entrepreneur who served as CEO of several different tech companies. He has advocated for something called universal basic income. This means the government would provide $1,000 a month to every American adult, regardless of employment status. He also wants to protect jobs from being stolen by robots.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a good idea. It would mean that at least everybody would not really have a problem. They wouldn't have a lot of stress.
What if I told you that the funding for universal basic income would come from a 10% tax on all goods and services produced by American businesses? Do you still support it?
I mean, honestly, that makes it a lot harder of a choice, but yeah, I would still support it.
There are a ton of candidates running in 2020, so we didn't have time to get to every single one, but we think this is an accurate summary of the biggest names in the race. Now that you've met the majority of the 2020 candidates, be sure to go out and do some research for yourself. Again, there's a lot of people running, so it's now easier than ever to find a candidate who accurately represents your views. Don't forget to go out and vote in the primaries and in November. I'm Eitan Shear reporting for Laker Update.
We love to have fun here at Laker Update. Remember the game, Never Have I Ever? Megan Mack takes the halls to see what students have to say.
Never Have I Ever has been a classic YouTube challenge. We found out what W kids have and have not done while still being school appropriate.
Okay, never have I ever skipped a class. Oh shoot! We're good kids, I don't know.
Never have I ever skipped a class.
Never have I ever slept in a class while a teacher is lecturing. Never have I ever done an assignment due that day when the teachers collected it. I mean, who has it? Oh.
Never have I ever been rejected in general.
In general?
I haven't asked anyone out, so.
I mean, like, not like dating.
Never have I ever been rejected. You sure about that?
I haven't.
Never have I ever asked someone at school and gotten rejected. Never have I ever been rejected.
Back to you in the studio.
And to continue the fun, here's a look at some of our administrators and security having a fun time this summer. Now please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for watching Laker Update. You can connect with us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and LakerUpdate.com. Have a great day, Lakers.